Hello everyone, welcome to One by One, a podcast where we uncover the stories, strategies and secrets behind extraordinary success. I'm your podcast host, Robert Murigi, and we'll be building each other from the ground up. Join us as we uncover the blueprints of building a life, a career or a business from the ground up. Subscribe now and never miss an episode from us. And on our today's podcast, by SGTI and Motor O'Clock, we are going to find out that the best mechanic are the one who can diagnose a problem before the customer even notices. What do we mean by this?
This is a 116i, a BMW 2007 model. It has a N45 engine, and we just want to do a quick oil change, and we find that this one is supposed to be 25 Newton meter, and if you're strong and you have a good grip, you can easily be able to open this. And once you open it, you are able to check inside to see how much of the sludge or how much of the dirt is around the oil filter. And that one can tell you whether you are late for the service. Let's see what we have here. This is a petrol vehicle, and you can see that the oil is very dirty. So it means that the vehicle was not operating on its optimum operating conditions. So what we are going to do today, we are going to change this oil filter. We're also going to go down there and change the oil. We drop the oil, and it's also good sometimes to check how much oil you have. This one can also tell you whether your vehicle is consuming oil, or whether, because some vehicles they may not show on the dipstick properly, or some people have changed the dipstick on their vehicles. So it means that every time they check how much oil we have on that engine, it means that the oil will always be wrong. The amount of oil will always be wrong. And what happens to the vehicles like this one, which doesn't have a dipstick? We normally have on the dash where we can check the oil level, and we are going to find out how we do that. And at this moment we are going to be removing this filter. And when you do the filter, it's always good to make sure that the same part number which is here is the same part number which will be on the new oil filter. It's always good to put the genuine oil filter, because if you don't do that, you normally invite trouble with your engine. And how do you do that? When you put a substandard oil filter, it means that the filtration is being restricted, which means that your vehicle will be starving in one way or the other. And therefore, when you have these oil filters, you just wiggle it a little bit and you pull it downwards slowly. And this is because we have some O-rings here. And then when you get it out, it's always good to inspect and see whether between the gaps, whether you have any debris or metal filings, because that one can tell you that you might have an inside wear in your engine. Or we also find that if you have done the oil sump, and some people put so much silicone around the oil sump, this can be pulled and you can be deposited here, which means that that can tell you that the work which you have done in the past was substandard, and that will help you to rectify that before you lose your engine. And now this is the oil filter. We have that cap there. It's always good to check whether the cap is still good, or it's broken, or it's getting brittle, because when you put the wrong oil filter or the wrong oil in the engine, the temperatures can always change, and this can heat up some parts in your engine. Some of them can become brittle and start falling apart. So that one, for this one, is good, but it just needed the oil change. So we are going to grab another oil filter, and we're also going to drain the oil from the from the sump, and then we'll also see how much we have, so that we see whether the vehicle is consuming oil in the right way. But this can be avoided, because most of the vehicles you can always see how much oil it consumes from the dipstick. But where you don't have a dipstick, and you also have the onboard testing which is not working properly, this can make you drive your vehicle without any oil. So it's always good to know your vehicle and this can help you to become the best and to have the best vehicle to serve you for longer. So when you're down here, it's good to always check whether you have any oil leakage or whether you have any wetness. It might be minimum oil leak, which may still need to be fixed, but it's always good to know exactly where it's coming from. And you also need to see, this can tell you how this vehicle is normally used, because if you see any scratch marks or dents on the sump or on the gearbox sump, that one can tell you that that driver might be a bit rough. So therefore it's good, and we are here now so that we are able to undo the sump plug. And when you're doing the sump plug, it is always good to use the right spanner before you shred it, and you'll never be able to remove it in the future. And when you're still here, we find that we have some wetness here. It is good to check where it's coming from, and we have seen it's coming from the steering rack where it joins the steering column. So we'll note that one down and see what we can do well with that. So when you're here, it's always good to take your time to make sure that your tool is the right tool. It's good to use a little bit of just a whack, and that one can help you to undo it without stripping it. When you do it up, when you undo it, it's always good to crank it up a little bit as you bring the tray so that you are able to drain the oil and see how much we are going to get. So once the drain plug is loose, it's always good that you make sure that you don't lose the washer. Otherwise you'll always have some leakage or some wetness around the oil plug. And let's see what we are going to get here. And when we drop this oil, sometimes people normally are in a rush and they want to drain it quick and keep going. While it is not the best thing, it's always very important to wait for the vehicle to drain all the oil so that you make sure that you remove all the waste from the engine. Some of the few things that we always need to pay attention to when it comes to the oil filters or any part which has a part number, it's always good to put the part number where you can see it the first time you open it. And this means that on this side where we have this part number, that is where this filter is going to go, like that. And when it comes to these BMWs, not put this cap in the right way, and you need just to twist it and open it. And when you're here, it's always good to check whether you have any sludge inside here. This one can tell you that you are overdue in your service. Always make sure that the oil goes all the way in. And you also make sure that you're going to check the part numbers to make sure that you have the right part number. It's also very important to make sure that you change these two O-rings, which I've already changed, so that you do not have them crack and start doing the wrong job. When you put this one down and back, it's always good to just turn it slowly. As you listen to it, if you feel it's biting, then it is time for you to do it right, or to make sure that you lubricate all your O-rings so that you do not break the cap or the housing. All the way that your fingernail cannot go in between there,
you are good.